Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rays Rewind with Bell, Bushman, and Drew.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Arose Arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, Game 4 hero.
The sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome back in, everybody, to another episode of the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. I am Evan. You can also join me as usual as Sean and Drew. Make sure to go to our YouTube page, which we are live on right now at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind, or if you're joining us from Twitter as well, you're on my X page apparently. So second show in a week. I figured we could talk about the debuts of the two newest Rays after the trade, actually the three newest Rays after the trade deadline: Freddy Peralta, Liam Hicks, and also Tyler Wells. We'll get into AL East concerns and then something or nothing on this edition of the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind. So let's get into it. Our new Rays made their debut this past week against the Colorado Rockies, which we just swept yesterday in a 3-game set against them, which is great, going into a day off today, and then headed into Seattle for a set against the Seattle Mariners. Fellas, how do we feel about our new Rays, Liam Hicks, Freddy Peralta, and Tyler Wells? Drew, we already know how you feel about Freddy Peralta.
No, it's not that. It's not. Again, let me clarify. I don't mind them getting Freddy Peralta. I just think that if that was the pitching move, you need to have another starting pitcher addition. Which, because if we see more like performances like we did on Tuesday, then not really sure he's going to offer you much in October. And I felt like they really needed an addition on the rotation for October. So, I mean, outside of Freddie, which, the Rays are going to fix Freddie. It's not going to happen in the 2 days he's with the coaching staff, or day and a half. I'm sure if anything, they probably said, hey, go out there, and on top of that, he's working with a catcher he's never worked before.
Right. And that was my question to both of you all. It's okay, they brought him in, didn't have much time to get acclimated with the new team and new catcher.
Right.
New catcher himself on the team too as well. And you're coming in. I know they talked about this a lot on the broadcast too. It's like, hey, they probably, like you just said, Drew, they probably just told him, hey, go do your thing, and then if whatever we need to fix, we'll fix after. Your next start's not going to be till later next week, so we have plenty of time to work things out. Overall, what did you think of his debut? I know first couple innings looked pretty good, and then all of a sudden the wheels just came off. Are you more optimistic that he can be fixed going forward, or are you more like, okay, this is the Freddy Peralta that's been with the Mets all season, and we're just going to see more of the same?
I mean, you take it with a grain of salt. He's pitching in Coors, other pitchers for the Rays, bullpen especially, didn't give up 7 runs. So, it can be done. So it's not just that it's in Coors and that you throw your hands up and say, well, just bad timing. But it was in Coors, which isn't a great place to be pitching in general. I really think it's going to have to be several more starts before I throw in the towel on him being able to be "quote unquote" fixed. I do worry. Again, people I think just kind of assume that the Rays are going to be able to work their magic and all the things that But there's obviously been times where like they aren't able to fix a pitcher, and they're only going to get 9 more starts probably out of him in the regular season. So. I don't know how realistic it is to think that he's going to be fixed entirely to look like the guy from last season. You hope that it's the change in team dynamics, hopefully some better coaching. And then, by September, October, he's ascending. If he comes out and has just another awful game against the Athletics, which talk about like the 2 worst stadiums.
That's brutal.
It's tough. But if he comes out and has another terrible game like that, again, I'm probably going to still give him the benefit of the doubt. I'd like to see how he does in Tropicana Field, where apparently fastballs are, they play really well there according to Griffin Jacks. So, yeah, I need to see more from him. I mean, I was disappointed, but just glad they won, honestly. I think I would have been more frustrated if they lost. I think you're able to kind of sweep it under the rug since they won. So,
Drew, what did you think of Freddy Peralta? Did you kind of think the same thing, or do you think it's like, all right,
you mean Sean?
it's just one, it's just one, Sean, I'm sorry. It's just one start, we're going to fix it. We'll go forward. And then, hopefully the next start, he'll be okay. Are you kind of in the same boat as Drew?
Yeah, I mean, the important note to take here, 1-0 in Freddy Peralta starts. Just throwing that one out there. No, I think it was definitely disappointing. I will say how exciting it was to just see the new guys like in their uniforms and playing. Like, I don't think I've watched a pregame show this year. I've normally just turned it on right at first pitch. I was, tuned in at the pregame show. Like, I was excited to see Hicks, to see Freddy start. So regardless of their performances, I was just happy to see the new guys in their threads. But a little disappointing from Freddy. I think very brutal that he's now got to go to Sacramento, which is just as worse as Coors for park factor and for pitching wise. But really, really liked. You really had to be happy what you saw with Liam Hicks and Tyler Wells. Initial reaction on Tyler Wells, that dude is huge. I was not familiar with how big he was.
The three big ones at the top.
Yeah, here we got Liam Hicks. And I will like to say I technically did call the home run. Now, I did say in our group chat it'd be the first at bat. But, we'll let the record show, you can argue that. But I did sort of call that. So I thought it was a pretty good weekend for the new guys other than the Freddy start.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was really I was like, look, I'm gonna watch this game from pitch one to see how Freddy does, and for the first 3 innings he did pretty well, and then the wheels came off. But I think I saw some encouraging things that could probably be worked on, especially with Kyle Snyder, who's a magician when it comes to struggling pitchers and everything. But when it comes to Liam Hicks, like, you couldn't have asked for a better debut with a guy just going up there, hits a grand slam, the first grand slam, I think, for the Rays this season, I believe it was. So
and his first career grand slam, I believe.
Yeah. So what a better debut for a guy that just got traded over to a team that has now a catcher for the next 4 years. And think about it this way. I mean, if he's going to be hitting like that in the lineup, he's going to be a monster going forward to complement Junior and the other two in the big three. I think he's going to do well in this lineup. I mean, he played first. He's going to be so versatile too, because look, they gave Yandy a day off. He played first. You could also put him as DH as well. So he's going to be almost like at that Swiss Army knife per se when it comes to the lineup of having him in there. So I'm excited to see how he's going to be going forward in the lineup too as well. And then Tyler Wells, I mean, great inning of pitching. Yeah, he looked fantastic too. So
big old boy.
Thank you, Baltimore, for letting us, have your two guys come over. Brian Baker last year, who's now, the demon as our closer, and then of course Tyler Wells, who's now probably going to be one of those back end guys in our bullpen too as well. So thank you, Baltimore. And I think T-Kraz the other day said we basically got Brian Baker for nothing. Because of just the pick and then the trade that happened with Boz, and then trading back, I think it was Michael Forret back to the Baltimore Orioles. We basically just got Brian Baker for nothing, which is kind of funny. So if you want to trade the Baltimore Orioles, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you think about it too, like the bullpen, like Manny Rodriguez is looking in Durham. You hope he comes back and is effective. You just wish. Now you wonder if, like you say, it is healthy all year. If Baker, it becomes the kind of, or gets the back end, like the closer role, because I think everyone's kind of anticipated Usaida being that guy. But man, even just without some of those main pieces, it's been pretty impressive, the back end of the bullpen this year between Kevin Kelly and Baker, and I mean Tyler Wells. And I mean, if Manny Rodriguez comes back, there's 4 guys you feel really confident in, and then as long as Clevenger's on with his control, you got 5 really solid guys there. And who knows if they bring up one of their AAA guys, that throw them in a bullpen role for the playoffs or something like that. So
that was going to be my next question, is when our rosters expand, who is going to be probably brought up from the minors up into the roster, especially for the bullpen too.
My best guess, I know we talked about it last show, is they've already been using Ty Johnson in relief, and it's looked better as of late. I know when they first put him in the bullpen, he had some clunkers and had some big innings, but I would assume him, since they've already transitioned him, and he's Drew. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he is a starter. I know that, but he's got really only 2 pitches. So his stuff, I feel like, will play pretty good in 1 inning spurts.
Yeah, he's got a reliever profile, but he's been a starter and been effective as a starter in his minors career. I mean, his ERA this year is 3.2.
And if I'm not wrong, I believe was he the last part in the Isaac Paredes trade? Okay.
Yeah, it was him, Biggie, and Morel.
Mm-hmm. What happened? This might be a lack of ball knowledge. Where has Hunter Biggie been?
He's
totally
struggling.
Forgot about that name.
He's struggling in Durham.
Oh boy,
he's struggling big time. Him and Joe Boyle are fighting tooth and nail to be the one with the most struggles.
Not a good fight to be in.
I will say, can I say I'm finding my own bias a little bit here with Liam Hicks, because I know that he's productive and he's been having a really good year, and he's even made a big jump from last year.
Here we go.
No, I just I like it's hard for me. Again, my issues with the trade deadline were more of with how it panned out. I didn't think they did enough. They needed to add another starting pitcher. At very minimum, they needed to get a middle infielder in a Luis Ariz. You cannot convince me otherwise.
There's been nothing but tearing the cover off the ball in Philadelphia, by the way. He's been nothing but a monster now in the Phillies lineup.
I also just like the amount of excuses people make about this and being like, oh, it takes 2 to tango, all this stuff, like, isn't like, there's no way our front office has made a mistake when it comes to this trade deadline. But anyways, I digress. I think there should have been more. Liam Hicks.
No, I think we kind of I agreed with you that there should have been more. Like there was so much left on the table at the deadline where it's like, okay, we did these 3. We did 2 big ones and then a small minor one at the end, but there should have been another like big trade. Like if Neander said he was going to be aggressive at the deadline, he was somewhat aggressive, but he wasn't aggressive enough. Like you got to give me more than just 2 big trades and then a small minor one at the end. You got to give me one big one just to shock everybody. You're gonna be aggressive that way.
It's just Liam Hicks is the kind of guy I would never get like excited about in general. Like he just doesn't. So it's weird to think like, oh yeah, he's just got me fired up about this lineup now. Like that we got Liam Hicks backing up Junior. Like finally. So it's hard for me to get around on that, because I just feel like
even after the grand slam, it doesn't get you fired up at all.
I was pretty fired up.
Oh no, I was
pretty fired up too.
Very excited to see that happen.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for him. I think it's great. I'm just talking about the bias of like,
I got you.
He would never strike me as like a very exciting player. The name recognition, right? I mean, I know who he is. I've watched him play. I know his season's been great. It's just like let's say they only had gotten Luis Ariz instead of Liam Hicks, I would be fired up, because I know I know Luis Ariz. I've seen him doing the playoffs, all this stuff. Liam Hicks,
he's a Rule 5 guy. He's a Rule 5
name, and they tried to get him a couple years ago. I read, and I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to accomplish what we need out of him, which is protection for Junior, also bat to ball skills, all the things. So I'm not doubting that. It's just like I have to like fight my own bias a little bit of. He's just not. He never seemed like that exciting of a player to me. So
he's not the sexy.
It's hard for me to be like, oh man.
Finally, I got you. I'm just happy that we have a catcher under control for the next 4 years. We don't have to go in the offseason worrying about a backstop like we've been worrying about a backstop for the past 20 years or so.
Well, he's a natural fit to switch over to like the Yandy role too. If we don't retain Yandy after next year, because you got to think Bodine's going to be the guy.
Right.
One of the Welling within a few years too. I mean, like, so.
Here's a question for you guys, and I've kind of pondered this a little bit. Have you noticed a trend with the trade partners that the Rays tend to trade more with and trade less with?
We were a Mariners trade shy of Yahtzee, I think. That's,
But look at who we've been trading with recently. We've traded with the
Mhm.
Orioles a lot. We've been trading with the Marlins a lot. It seems like Neander just goes and trades with guys that don't know what they're doing at their jobs.
This is true.
Because these are like, look at the trades that we've been doing the past couple of years with these teams, and the trades that he's done with teams that he normally doesn't do trades with, they lose out on. And the trades that we, come up big and fleece, we keep going back and forth with them. It's like I've noticed this trend. It's like Neander's trading with the guys he's familiar with that are just look. I'm not an executive. None of us are. We're not GMs, but don't trade with the Rays. You're going to get fleeced.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a familiarity.
Oh yeah,
make it easier.
I mean,
especially
Benix used to be an executive with the Rays. Yeah, of course that. But we've traded with the Dodgers because of Friedman and everything. A couple of those trades have kind of worked out a little bit, but it just seems like the trades that we've really won on have been with teams that aren't that great.
I would say I feel like Peter Bendix does a good job for what is kind of the same conversation with how the Marlins have to operate. Mike Elias, on the other hand, with the Orioles, I totally agree, Evan. I feel like he's made a lot of skeptical moves. Arden Layton from the Just Baseball show likes to call him on fraud watch, and he's been on fraud watch for way too long.
Look at the Rushman trade alone. Look at the Rushman trade. You're trading within the division. You're trading Rushman, who should have been your cornerstone guy, and then look, I know the package they got back was pretty good. But you're trading within the division. Why would you trade within the division a guy to the Red Sox who are super red hot right now? You're giving them more an advantage anyways by trading within the division to a red hot team.
Yeah, I actually I did like that deal because the Red Sox sure did pay the in-division tax. But yeah, you look at the last couple of moves Elias has done with the Rays and not has looked good. And Eric Neander said that in that interview he did with Chris Adams-Wall and said he's got a good rapport with Mike, but yeah, I think somewhere in the back of his head, maybe Eric knows he's getting the better end of most deals with Mike Elias.
The Boz trade alone, we get all that back, and we still keep those guys.
And then we say, hey, you can have one back.
You can have one back, and so we basically got our our all-star closer for basically nothing. So I'm not calling the kettle black, but I'm just saying.
That's fair. One last note on the Liam Hicks thing. I believe it was Brian Baker noted how impressive it was for him to come in and catch however many pitchers that was that game, maybe 5 or 6, and the way he did it. And Baker said that was even more impressive than the Grand Slam and what he did at the plate. So I think that's something worth noting as well. And Neander said he would be catching more, or he would hope that he'd be catching more going forward. So shout out Liam Hicks for that. Obviously great at the plate, but pretty impressive to catch all those guys in one game.
Yeah, I thought it was too. I'm more excited about this team. I'm still a little weary going into this month and next month. And Sean, you and I talked about this pre-show. Is like, well, the next stretch of games is not really that favorable to this team, compared to the Red Sox, who have a pretty favorable month coming up. And I wanted to bring this up to both of you. This will go into our something or nothing. Something or nothing. Are you concerned more now about the Red Sox than we were a month ago? Something or nothing.
This is definitely something. And if you recall, a month ago, I tried to pretty slyly, pretty calmly say to both of you, oh, this is nothing. The Red Sox are nothing to worry about. And who knows, maybe some Red Sox players saw that and they listened to that. And that was the fuel to their fire.
Probably.
Will I take credit for that? Sure. Why not? I might as well. But certainly something. They can't lose. And when they had their really early struggles, I wasn't watching much of Red Sox baseball unless they were playing the Rays. But you looked at the roster, and I know they had some injuries, and you look at the bullpen, you look at the lineup and their starting pitching. And I was like, what's going on? Because the talent's there. The names are there. But I guess it's just all clicking. It makes you think, how much of this was a Cora problem maybe? Was it just injuries? Are they just hitting their stride? But they're playing some of the best baseball we've seen in a stretch, historically in this game. So they're red hot. You got to think they got to come back down to earth at some point. But the way they're playing right now, they're certainly a problem.
Right now, as we are going live, they are losing to the White Sox 5-3 at the bottom of the fourth. So we'll see if the White Sox can hold on and to win and not get swept by the Red Sox before the Red Sox go play the Athletics for a nice little stretch of games. So, Drew, I'll go back to you.
Yeah,
I'll go back to you. Something or nothing. Are the Red Sox are you more concerned about them now than you were a month ago?
Yeah, I think I do remember us talking about that. I don't remember. I remember on the show with Pepio, we talked about the Red Sox a little bit being like a surprise team at the time. I really have felt that way for a while because their pitching has always been so good. Even when they were not doing well, their pitching was really, really strong. They just weren't scoring any runs. They weren't hitting home runs. I believe I saw they are tied for the lead in Major League Baseball in home runs since the All-Star break. And so when they're scoring runs, they're really hard to beat because all their young pitchers have pitched very well this year. Now, I think that just as a baseline, yeah, I'm very worried about them, especially if they continue. They're not going to continue at this pace, but if they continue to play, really good baseball, I think it's very conceivable that when they come into the Trop in September, it's, potentially the first place could swing with that series. And because the Rays managed to lose all 4 games at the beginning of the second half, I believe whoever wins that 3-game series wins the tiebreaker. So, I've had my eye on that series now for a little while because I feel like things are trending in that direction. I think with the way things are currently constructed, I think it's a no-brainer that the Red Sox are going to pass the Yankees and be the first wild card team. And honestly, like when I think about that, I get really nervous about the playoffs simply because of just PTSD from 2021 when, we ran into a very hot Red Sox team and really a red hot Kiki Hernandez. And we couldn't put them away. And we had some incredibly bad luck that series, but just going to Fenway in October is really hard. I think I would probably prefer Yankee Stadium over Fenway, to be honest with you, in October. So, yeah, man, super nervous. Hopefully they'll stumble here. It's going to be a tough matchup either way for them in the playoffs, regardless who they face. So I don't see the Guardians or the Rangers catching any of them.
I think
my only hope is that the Yankees struggle so much that they fall into the third wild card, and then
I think it's going to happen. I think it'll happen this weekend. I think you'll see the Red Sox vault over the Yankees this weekend. They're only separated by 1 game, so it could happen this weekend.
Yeah, I think they're tied in the loss column too, or something like that, or something like that. So they, I think it's crazy too. They were so far back. The Yankees are so worried about catching the Rays that I think they might need to worry more about the Red Sox at this point.
Fun fact from our good friend Evan Klosky, former guest of the show. I think he tweeted out the other day the Rays need to be 44-4 to pretty much hold off the Red Sox at the pace to win the AL East.
They're playing at.
The pace that the Red Sox are playing at, the Rays need to be 44-4 the rest of the way.
It just goes to show you the length of like how long an MLB baseball season is, because a month in, if you were looking at what these Red Sox fans are saying, which again, I don't blame them. It got pretty bad. But to see where it was to where it is now, if you had told a Red Sox fan a month into the season where they are right now, not a single one would believe you.
Actually, they would. They would.
Because
they always have
they're
that
delusional enough.
Yeah, they would. They're like, what are you talking about? We'll be there. September. I just said bad in Boston. That was almost like a New York accent. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah. But yeah, they would believe you. Trust me. They would.
Yeah, they are a little delusional in that way.
Okay, next something or nothing. Carson Williams was taken out of the game the other day. Is he going to be on the plane headed towards Seattle? Is this something or nothing? Drew.
Yeah. I think, have they not announced it yet?
They have not announced it yet.
Yeah.
Second part of this something or nothing question. Do you think Carson Williams will be better this time than he has been before coming up from the minors? Something or nothing.
I really hope he is. I don't have any reason.
That's all you got?
Yeah, I don't. It's not like I've seen anything in AAA and his numbers or, to suggest that he's got, a reason or, that I should expect anything different. I would hope the fielding's just better. And that, we don't have the mental errors that he seems to have either through the the fielding errors or the base running issues that we had. I think back to when he pinch ran and clearly didn't know what the situation was. I don't know. I got to look off the top of my head. I don't think we face many lefties coming up. Certainly not in Seattle. I think we face Jeffrey Springs on Monday. So, he'll get to start that game, I would assume. I don't know how much he's going to play. I mean, they mentioned, because we've seen Williamson start a little bit more for Walls against right-handed right-handed pitchers. I think because Williamson can play short, and then obviously, Walls' fingers, the finger injury he sustained, I think he's playing through some pain, it sounds like, on what they talked about on the broadcast. I think Andy Freed mentioned that. So I don't know if that's more about Taylor Walls needing a break, or they just, hey, they feel good about Williamson starting, just to give Walls a little extra rest. I don't know if they would feel as comfortable with Williams doing that. So I don't anticipate him really starting much at all, unless there's a lefty bat or a lefty pitcher. And so he's going to have limited opportunities. I mean, I'm looking at Jacob Lopez, he's pitching against them. Yeah, that's the only lefty on the schedule for right now. So for the next week and a half. So I'd like to think he's going to play better. I don't anticipate him coming out but sometimes, man, baseball's weird, and like all you need is another shot. So fingers crossed. I want to see him play better. It'd be so great to see him be an impactful player, because I think a lot of people have written him off at this point. So rooting for him, but that's about where I end on that one.
Sean, you're a two-parter. Carson Williams coming up, something or nothing. Will be better, something or nothing.
I agree with a lot of what Drew had to say. I think it was confusing last time when he came up, because the conversation was, okay, well, even he's so good defensively, he's got the speed. Even if the bat isn't there when he first comes up, okay, at least we can bank on speed and defense. Like, he can do that really good. And we just didn't see that. I feel like his cups of coffee in Major League Baseball has been the definition of just lights too bright. And you're right, Drew. Baseball is weird. Like, I almost have a weird feeling where he's been struggling recently in AAA. Maybe this is the call up that sparks something, but how much is he going to play? I think it's hard for a guy like him who goes down, is playing every day, and is going to come up and be used in sort of a platoon role. But maybe that's just what he needs. It kind of reminds me, I believe it was last year when the White Sox called up Colston Montgomery. And Colston Montgomery was in AAA Charlotte with the White Sox. And he, similar to Carson Williams, has a swing and miss problem, a lot of swing and miss to his game. And I remember when they called him up, I'm like, I don't know. He had some prospect intrigue and was, I believe, a top 100 guy. But he came up and just started hitting homers and started mashing. And I was like, what? That came out of left field. Like, I wouldn't have guessed that because of his struggles in the minors. And I was actually looking at their stats, Colson Montgomery's AAA stats and Carson's stats from this year. And Colson's was a lot smaller of a sample size, but they were pretty similar. So maybe, who knows? Maybe he can come up, and I'm not saying he's going to be Colson Montgomery, because they've got a really good shortstop there in Chicago, but I don't know. Baseball is weird, Drew, and so I hope something can change. Drew and I were talking before the show. I feel like a prospect is going to pan out when they come up, they struggle, they go back down, and then their next time up, or maybe the next time after that, then you see some tangible adjustments and you start to see some progress. So I think it'll be a decent indicator, regardless of how much he gets to play, of where he's at as a player and how much of impact he can be for us.
I just want to see him come up and make an impact. That's what I want to see. I just because the bottom half of the order is just still not mashing, and we're going into the nitty-gritty months where every game is pretty much going to count, especially now that you're up 5.5 on the Red Sox, 4.5 on the Yankees, and the Red Sox are just coming in like a buzzsaw, and they're just knocking on the door right now. So every series, big or small, counts, and this one's pretty big this weekend against the Mariners. Then you got some small ones against some below 500 teams, and that's where you need to take care of business going forward. They can't suffer any kind of losing streak like they have in the past month or so with these long little losing streaks. You can't do it, especially against the Red Sox, because then all of a sudden the Red Sox are knocking on your door, and then they're going to be in first place, taking over the East, and you don't want that to happen.
Red Sox tied the White Sox.
Red Sox tied. Well, great. Then okay. Well, then okay. So they'll probably sweep the White Sox, and then
I'm putting that one on you, Evan. That was a jinx.
You know what? Put that on me. I don't. It's fine. Don't put. You know what? Maybe this is the last of their winning streak, and then maybe they'll fall against the Athletics and then crappy teams go forward. But probably not. They're going to go for another 16-game winning streak again. So, all right, guys, we're going to get on out of here. Thanks for everybody for joining us on X and YouTube at the Sick Podcast Raise Rewind YouTube channel, and on X as well on my X page. You can catch us probably next Sunday night live here on YouTube and also X. For myself, Sean, and Drew, it is the Rays Rewind Podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. We'll see you guys next week. Peace. Go Rays.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind with Bushman and Drew on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.